Alright, I've been deliberating a lot. Probably sat here for about 40 minutes. Feels like about 40 minutes that I've been sitting here. Nobody's gonna know me on this video. I'm just a random guy. My name is Tristan, 25 years old, turning 26 this year. And I think I'm using this. I think I'm gonna be using this. I think I'm gonna be using this video. It's just like a uncut, unedited spew of thoughts. It's almost like a video diary, I guess. But today I made an important decision, and I just felt like talking about it. Hopefully, I don't listen back on this audio after deliberating for 40 minutes and find out that I'm too quiet. I have a tendency to be very quiet. Not great for YouTube. Not great for YouTube, which is probably why I have I would say relatively small channel. But I have, just for clarity's sake, I have this little notepad. It's not necessarily a script, but it's gonna help me stay on topic. 'Cause sometimes I tend to veer. I am recording this on an iPhone with like a stand with a ring light around it at almost exactly midnight. So today, the decision I made, I quit my job. I'm sure people quit their jobs all the time. That's a pretty regular occurrence. It's just as this job specifically changed my life quite a bit. And not all for the worst. So you might be like, why'd you quit? Let's talk about it. So let me read the script here. Okay, I'll start. Talk about why I wanted the job. So I met someone who's my age. She worked for this place. I don't want to start saying names and stuff like that, just for respect and privacy. But she worked for this place. It was a social work place, and I had never done social work. The place required a degree of which I don't have. I almost finished college and then was just like, got burnout on it, the typical stuff. But she put in like a really good word for me, and we hadn't known each other long. She took a huge risk, big gamble, and I got the job. Before that, I was just doing whatever. Didn't have like I didn't feel like I had much of a purpose. You know, I had like a long-term relationship, and then I think that lack of feeling like I had a purpose broke that. So I was just trying to find that. And finding stuff, like finding purpose is so weird, just because I never would have expected to find it with working with the person that just was like, yeah, I'll totally recommend you. But I got an interview. She put in a good word to get me into the interview, and then after that it was up to me. The day of my interview, so again, social work job, and it's a big organization, and it's like, well, now it's 2 buildings. When I got there, they added a building, but it was 1 building with many programs. And I was going in for a program to help like parents, like dads, like mostly dads, find jobs so that they could pay for child support and like keep up to date on their payments and all that. But the morning of my interview, I got a text in my little group chat, and one of my friends, who older than me, but I still, you know, I would consider him a friend. He unfortunately took his own life, which that's a whole can of worms. And for some reason it affected me quite a bit. I had a friend prior that was my age. I had worked with him in the past, take the similar route. But for some reason, that one stuck with me. And I don't know why. But he was a veteran. And so, I was like, do I cancel this interview? But I didn't. I went into the interview. And, naturally, I got my computer set up here. You go over and I'm like, let me look some stuff up. Let me get some ideas about the place and the programs. And they had a veteran help program that, again, for privacy's sake, I will not say any names. Just doesn't feel appropriate. But it lined up so perfectly. I was impacted by my friend's passing, and he was a vet. And then this is a program that helps homeless vets find jobs. Our job was to break the barriers to getting them a job. Most homeless people tend to not have clothing or transportation or showers, stuff like that, shelter, who would have thought? And, our job was to just break those barriers. I would go and talk to employers. That way, when the person came in for a job, I would help them get some clothing. I would talk to those employers. That way, when they got in there, there would be that understanding of like, okay, this is a homeless veteran. Like, it's not, you got to have a little bit of leeway because, that's just how it goes. So basically, it was my reputation and theirs on the line at that point. But interview skills, like I'll say here in a minute, we would teach interview skills, gaps in employment. If you're homeless, a lot of those people haven't worked in a while, and we would help them. It was great. So before we were helping them, so I go into this interview, and it was a standout-ish interview. They don't do it like that anymore because things have changed so much since I started, which we'll get into. But the office it's an old police station, and the office is set up, and everybody would sit in their desk like in a square around the office, and I sat in the middle and would just take questions. And the main boss of that, it's like the work area, he is from Tanzania, different country, and he's a very, very old man, and super thick accent, extremely thick accent. And I, for information, am deaf in this ear and almost deaf in this ear. So, not me dropping the camera. Okay. So, you can probably imagine that was an intense interview, trying to learn all the other people's questions, and then the main person in the interview is an older foreign man, and I'm deaf, and I'm a younger Caucasian. It's just like the most American versus not American thing, and it was fun, and I didn't expect it to be fun. But I go in there, and again, I was originally going for the program for the dads and moms, or whatever parents. But I had a fire lit that morning, and I come in and I just started talking about the program for veterans and just really talking about it, and pretty much switched the whole basis of what the interview was going to be, switched the whole job I was applying for. And I got the job, and it was cool because it's a bunch of people that are my age, and I think that culture in a workplace is important. You want to be able to try to fit in, that helps a lot. And I'm kind of a nerd. I like the Pokemons, the collections, Pokemon Go. I like to play games. I have a PC. I'm uploading a video to YouTube. Like, a little nerdy. I like to be outside, but I got a nerd side. And so these people were helping me to fulfill my nerd side and make me feel a little bit welcomed. So that was cool. Gotta look at my script. So it says talk about leaving job. I don't want to talk about that yet. I'm gonna talk about the job a little bit more. So when I get there, the person that was also in this program, she helped me. She trained me. She was excited to have me on board. I was excited to be there. I had that new hire fire, which is, you're a new hire, you're just going. But I also had another fire that burned a little bit longer because of the circumstances of me switching to the veteran program. And man, I started booking it. When I got there, this program was failing, bad. And, everybody who gets a job, I've noticed, will always say, they were really good at their job. I've been horrible at jobs, and I had some stuff at this job I could have improved on in terms of, note-taking, probably organization. I don't know. Just stuff. I'm not ever going to say I was, the bee's knees. But now I get to say I'm the bee's knees. We had about 10 clients, which was not good. The program when I got there was a year old on a 3-year grant. So gotta get a drink. There was a goal. You don't get commission for it at all, but they had a goal of trying to get 15 veterans enrolled per month. The program is 1 year old at this point. We have 10 total enrolled. And so I was like, oh, I'm playing from behind right now. I am in the back. Due to circumstances that myself, even though I was new, I was like, that's kind of a BS reason. According to other management there, they also found it to be a BS reason, but the person that trained me, they said bye-bye to. Little did I know this was going to be a staying trend. Don't want to rag on them too hard, because I do actually love the place. But there was just a lot of turnover from either quitting or being fired. And most of it was being fired. But, yeah, so they fire. Then I'm alone. Barely trained. And I'm like, you know what? All I can do is all I can do. And so I just started. And I fully embraced being the person in that role. And I just, boom, 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 I was getting it. I mean, I was trying. I was going out. I was talking to organizations, talking to employers, talking to veterans, creating fundraisers for myself, talking to schools to help with Veterans Day, to get my clients a couple things, to make them feel appreciated. Little stuff that wasn't even part of the description. And we went from 10 veterans total in a year to literally, by the time I left, we were there. I think, had 65 by the time I was done today. Or I guess now yesterday, because it's 12/11. But so I took a ton of pride in it. I was mad that I was alone, but I was also, it's such a unique perspective, because most people have a team to work with. I had to be my team, and that was tough, but everything that I did, and I was like, whoa, I'm feeling something here. And that feeling was great, but it eventually started to sour because one person helping 10 people and also getting all of, the other job requirements done, it's a lot, but it's doable. One person helping 20 people, it's a lot, but it's doable. But then once you go 30, 40, 50, 60, and then 65, and you still haven't gotten help, it started to pile up to the point where it was, take this thing of water and you just keep pouring. It was spilling everywhere. My family, we got a really bad history of heart issues. So I already knew that was going to be a thing. And I knew my blood pressure was already a little elevated. But that's not helping. It was making it significantly worse. My little ring light is showing. Those used to not be there. It's from the lack of sleep. Not due to like regular work schedule or even working overtime. We don't get overtime there. It's a nonprofit. So we got flex time, which meant that we just work overtime and then they just give us time off on a different day, which is cool. That's great. I don't really care too much, but it wasn't an overtime thing. A lot of it was just general workload and stress, and I struggled to sleep because I was helping homeless veterans. And, I didn't come from like a rich background or anything like that, but I mean, I grew up very poor, and then my family, I watched them build it up through work. I'm like, that's really cool. But man, going from like a relatively tame existence to seeing like really just down on their luck people, like, I'm not a crier and I usually don't show emotion much, so this is why this is completely unnatural to me. But my God, that seeing some of these people and like hearing their situations at first was just so like daunting. And then like wintertime comes and you start getting these because at nighttime, whenever it's negative 10 degrees and you realize that they're outside. So then I like put on a charity to just get a bunch of warm clothes, that way that like blankets and just everything, that way that they at least had something. Because I didn't want them to just struggle. I was like, if I can stop a little bit of struggle, I'll stop a little bit of struggle. It was just a lot, and mental health is important, and I didn't know that necessarily, but I realized one day when I was talking one of my clients out of committing suicide that some of the stuff that he was saying kind of making sense. I was like, oh, where am I at? Like, I don't want this guy to get hurt. I don't want anybody to get hurt. But why is my brain kind of agreeing with him a little bit? Just the smallest amount. And I was like, that's not good. This job also requires us to do reporting. A lot of reporting. It's a grant-based job. Those grantors, they need their reports. They need their reports. So staying after and getting that overtime, flex time, whatever, to get these reports done, and not being trained on the reports because the person that was trained on the reports was fired. Yeah, that was tough. Me and my boss, the man from Tanzania, huge age gap, lived two very different lives. Me and him became very close, and I looked to him as like a mentor, but also a friend that I could just talk to. And that was one of the toughest parts about leaving, is that we were just close. Me and him stayed on Halloween. Everybody like went home. We stayed until midnight doing this report. We get off at 4:30. We worked like 2 shifts. And I know, I want to say this, there's people out there that work hard-ass jobs. I've worked a hard-ass job. I worked out on the riverboats. This shit's tough, and I understand that. But there are, just from someone who's done both, there's a difference between physical hard and mental hard, and they are both really difficult. None of them are easy. They all suck. If only they didn't. If like one of them was easy, then I would jump on that shit. But some of them's easy for some people, some of them's not. But double shifts trying to report to make sure everything is exact to the little bitty last text to make sure that the grant is approved, so that not only do I get to keep my job, but other people get to keep their jobs. Because while I was alone, this grant was paying for certain people's jobs. And it got put on me. And I respected the fact that old boss man was the only one to stay to assist. I'm noticing, by the way, I keep looking this way because it's just the orientation of the phone. But I'm sorry, my mind is everywhere. So yeah, we stay. We get this report done. But you got to do that every 3 months, as well as getting your clients and helping the current clients that you have. And I mean this in such a nice way, because I knew it when I took the job. People are needy. Like needy. So it's like you're trying to do all these things, and then you have 60 people messaging you all at the same time, asking you to be everywhere. And I'm like, my brother, I am not omniscient. I don't know. I knew the word, and I was thinking in my head, I was like, I'm gonna mess this word up, and I'm not gonna be able to say it. I should have listened to that. But I can't be everywhere at once. I am not that guy. But I was trying, because I just wanted to. The phrase, like, I took this job to help people, is something you hear a lot of people say in social work. No, it's not even about that. I wanted to, like, help change the way people seen life. Like, I wanted people to see life differently as a result of me helping them be like, hey, that right there, it can be good. I promise. And I hope I did that. But blood pressure, training wasn't great. Other than the man that I was talking about, I keep wanting to say his name. Other than him, management, it's just rough. I think 25 people have been fired or quit this year. For people maybe watching this years from now, it's April. I was number 25. It's just wild, man. And I've seen people let go for ridiculous reasons. I've seen people let go for reasons that make sense. I've seen people let go for basically just trying to, like, I don't want to say save someone's ass, but if you got a grantor knocking at your door like, why is this done wrong? You're like, well, we fired this guy, so that took care of the problem. The politics, all that stuff was grinding me down to the point where, like, I fully changed from when I got in there versus now, to the point where my coworkers were like, there was a rift between us, for one, because there were coworkers. They worked in the other program within the same office. It was just, we did different things. But they were like, they could see it, And it became a rift because I was starting to have health issues, heart stuff, blood pressure stuff. I had a foot surgery like not long ago. Like, it's, yeah, just things. And I was not in office as much. And then when I was in office, I was usually a little bit late, moping, a little depressed. And I wasn't even, I don't think that they felt the same level of like boom from me, because when I got in, man, I was trying so hard. And yeah, I just got to the point where I couldn't even, like, there would be days where I would like wake up and be like, I cannot physically get out of bed. Like, I can't mentally make myself physically get out of bed. And it's just like, those days sucked. And I loved the program a lot. And I took a lot of pride in like doing what I did for them. Not for the company itself, which at this point I've probably said the name of by accident, just letting it slip. But just for like my clients, just for them, just trying to help them see that there's more to life than just sleeping outside and just being fully miserable and addicted to drugs. It's like there's more to that. But you know, I had a lot happen, like up here while I've been there, with the heart stuff, friends committing suicide, general like just passing away, seeing the worst of the worst in terms of like homelessness and drug addiction. I started to like question a lot, and I am very respectful. If you're religious or not religious, that's fine. I'm religious. I don't think anybody, I think everybody should just be what they need to be and then not be mean about it. But I started to have a lot of like just doubt about everything, purpose, life, religion, everything. And so my mind was just spiraled. Literally every day I was having panic attacks nonstop. So how am I supposed to focus on work? And then work keeps stacking. And it just was bad. And I was begging him to get me some help. I was begging. I was like, please, get me one person to help. If you give me one person, I promise you, it'll be right back to where it was, because it had started to decline. And this last month, the month of March, they finally got me a guy. It was somebody that had worked there for a bit. And if for some reason this video was to circulate and get big, I need to leave a little bit of a message for him. One, thank you. I was asked who I would like to work with, and I trusted you. I took so much pride in the program, and I was very protective of it. But when asked, I was like, yes, no, he's the guy. Like, I trust this man. I've seen what he does. We got hired on the exact same day, July 3rd. And then the next day was a day off. So it was like, this place is awesome. But I trusted him. And I don't know if what his career situation is going to end up being. Because now he's being me, alone in a program. There's a little bit more to that, but I trust him. I have nothing but love for the man. And I genuinely hope that he can finish out what I was trying to accomplish. And I hope that it goes well. And if he decides to do what I did and leave, I hope nothing but the best. Like, genuine, just nothing but the best. But unfortunately, every time that a good thing happens, a bad thing goes psh, especially at that specific workplace. The good thing is he was hired on, first full month together. We hit all of our numbers again. Things were good. Clients were getting helped. Then at the beginning of April, we were informed that there was an audit happening. Audits aren't fun. Audits are bad. Well, they're not bad if you do your job. The issue was, the audit was before I started. We were getting audited on things from before I started the job, which they can't control that. I know that they can't specifically be like, hey, can we get audited on some stuff that like is modern? They don't choose that. The grantors do. So we were trying to play catch up on stuff that belonged to people that they had fired and did not properly train. So then there was all these last second documents that needed to get done that day, right then, or else it was just done. And I was like, are you not understanding like what you're asking? Because now you have to do a report, one of those quarterly reports, but you have to do 2 of them. You always have to do 2 of them, and then a narrative review on those 2 reports. It's ridiculous. Even the management was like, this is just kind of excessive. So you have to do those. And then we had to go through every single file and try to make it current. How? The reason I say how is there were things that we hadn't been trained on doing that they were now like, hey, to make this file current, you have to do this thing. And I'm like, what is that? And they were like, well, we need it by the end of the day. And so today, or yesterday, whatever, I was like, hey, I was talking to the boss man and the guy that they got to help. And I was like, does that not make you a little mad? To the boss guy, I was like, does that not make you a little mad that they give you things like big documents and like, hey, if we don't have that by the end of right now, everybody loses their job. And we know we didn't train you on it, but like, that's just too bad. And he's an older man, and he came from like, different path of life. And I knew that. So to him, he was like, it is the job. Just try to do what they ask you to do. If you don't, you lose it. And I'm like, okay. But it's also their jobs to make sure that we can adequately perform ours. And then he asked the golden question. He asked if either myself or the guy that they got to, help and work alongside were fed up. So I just looked over at the guy. I was like, please, for the love of God, answer this question, because I will be honest, and I have love for the man that is asking me this question. And right as I looked over at the guy, the boss was like, no, I asked you. And I realized at that exact moment he was asking me for a very specific reason. And I was like, yes, I am very fed up. And he was like, you can write your letter of resignation. And I was like, let me open my folder. Open folder, and I already had it written. I think he knew. Me and him, we had a whole entire trip where we had to go to Springfield, Missouri. This is a Missouri thing. We're whittling down the privacy, but we had to go to Springfield for a conference, and we went on the wrong day. So then we are at Springfield, Missouri for a weekend, staying in a hotel. He's an older man. He's stressing. We don't know each other very well. Apparently, the people at the office are like, I don't know how this is going to go. They didn't expect us to come back best friends, but we did. Because I was like, you know what? We're already stressed. Let's eat on the company card. Let's go to Bass Pro Shop. Let's explore. Let's go see some stuff. We talked the entire drive there and back, and he learned about me, and I learned about him, and boom, besties. I looked to him as a mentor. I've had coworkers, they were like, he looks at you as if you were like a son. His non-Tanzanian Caucasian son. And I was like, I looked to him, yeah, as like a family member, like a grandpa. I don't even want to say grandpa because I don't even look at him. I know he's old, but I don't look at him as an old man. I know I'm rambling. That's why this is an uncut thing. But he asked me, and I think he knew. And he knew where my mental state was. And I said, yeah. And I put in 2 weeks. And I expressly said, I was like, I want these 2 weeks. In this 2 weeks, I hope that I can at least help us finish this audit. Because this guy just started. He does not know the clients. Any single one of those clients, you could have asked me their name, and I'd have been like, boom. And I could have told you every little detail. Every little detail about them. Still could. Won't. HIPAA. I don't know if anybody doesn't know what HIPAA is. Don't mess with them. It's a privacy act. No bueno. We don't mess with HIPAA. But my boss, the boss man, told me to just go home. He said, bring your laptop, tablet, work phone, and badge, and sit it and go home. And I thought I had pissed him off. So I was a little salty. And so I went around the office and I shook hands, gave hugs. And I was kind of pleasantly shocked to see how many people were shocked and maybe even a little bit like sad. And I was like, oh, I didn't know I had an impact on anybody here. Welcome to insecurities. But that was pleasant-ish to be like, oh, I have made an impact. And I went around and shook hands and hugged and said bye. And I had a private conversation with him. I was like, did I make you mad? Because you asked me this question. You asked me to do this. I tried to look at the other guy to like get the question off of me because I wasn't going to lie to you. And I think that you already knew the answer. And he said no. I said, are we going to stay close? Because this is like, I know it's a work relationship, but this is the closest I've ever been to like somebody from a workplace. I was like, this is, like, I look up to you. I look up to you, and I also look to you as somebody I can just talk to. I don't want to lose that. I don't want to make you mad, but yeah. Why did you send me home early? I offered 2 weeks. And he gave an honest answer, I think. I think me and him are still on good terms. We'll continue to talk. He told me that he wanted to send me home for the mental because this audit is going to be stressful and there's a chance that we're going to look very bad because management it's just going to kind of not be great. I'm swerving a lot. This is my antsiness. I'll try to sit still. And I think he was just like, go home. Just separate yourself and let it all wash off. Because he knows how much I cared. And I just told him, I was like, I genuinely appreciate that you would give me the benefit of the doubt on this. It's a degree-based job. I didn't have a degree. And then you trusted me to just be the guy. And I hope that I made you proud. Because that's important. I just hope that I made you proud and I did the best that I could. I tried. I tried. And I think he understood. And, you know, he just said, like, minimal training, being by myself, other than, you know, his bit of guidance that he had, because they didn't even inform him of everything. And I just tried to trailblaze. And I loved it. And I know I could have done things better. But I think I did good. A lot of people, like, when I left, they were like, I'm proud of you. And that was so strange. I'm like, you're proud of me for quitting? They're like, no. You didn't get fired. Most people get fired. You left on your own accord. You came into a program that was failing, and you left it, minus this audit. If the audit weren't to happen, and all the weird management stuff was going on, you left it in a significantly better spot than when you picked it up. And that means a lot. I do have a lot of concern. I'm gonna have to read the script because I'm gonna end up getting emotional. We don't get emotional. We don't like emotions. But yeah, so basically I just put like voice some concerns because that's just on my mind. I do have some concerns about like my future and life going forward, away from this job. I don't know. It's concerning. I let myself be all consumed. I jumped right on in. All eggs, one basket. And I don't even say that. I wouldn't even say it was eggs in one basket because I was just trying to just do it. And I left. So I wouldn't say that the basket necessarily broke. I would say that I purposely sat the basket down. But that was like pretty much everything to me was doing that. And that's not good. One funny thing is part of the job is that I teach people to like learn these skills. And I'm 25. And I'm teaching people how to do these things. And sometimes I'm struggling myself. But I would say for the future, just accidentally hit my desk, for the future and moving forward, I worked with a lot of organizations on behalf of my original company, and I've made some really good connections. I might not want to leave social work, and I think that I might have something lined up to where I can stay in that just through a different organization, and hopefully that goes better. Like hopefully, you know, there's a little bit better training and management procedure and stuff like that. But I'm always gonna have love, and I'm always gonna have left a little bit of myself, blood, sweat, tears, a little bit of my soul, my being, will always be left in the halls and in those offices. And I hope that not even just changing the program, but I hope that my clients all I hope that all of my clients, I could help them in the slightest little bit to see that there was something else than like something better than sleeping in a bush and just being homeless. That's what I want. I just wanted that. This video is running 44 minutes right now. I just gotta get it out. I'm gonna upload it unedited probably, other than I might cut out little seconds at the beginning and end, and I might add a slideshow. If I'm feeling saucy, I might add a slideshow. But yeah, I got the next part, give advice on mental health, following mental health. So if your brain's telling you something, at some point you gotta accept it. I was trying not to because of just how dedicated I was to this thing, this very odd thing that I had caught myself doing. And I finally had to do something about it because my mind was just spiraled, physically spiraled, my personality spiraled. It used to be so much more energetic and bubbly and excited all the time to like talk to people and just be goofy. And I've lost a lot of that. I don't know that I lost it permanently, but I definitely lost it somewhere along the journey, the timeline. And I'm going to try to get that back. I'm still going to be working and hopefully social work, but I'm just going to try to get that back, bits and pieces, hopefully. And maybe get to interact with my coworkers again down the line. And be like, hey guys, it's me, the happy guy. I will say one thing, unique perspectives, probably not going to be as long as this video, but I might give like advice videos or just talking videos, generic update videos on where I'm at post this situation. I'm a nerd, so I need to at some point try to monopolize this crippling addiction that I have found myself having. Because good Lord, if somebody could just send me some cards, that's instead of in the comments, if you comment on this and you've made it to the end of this video, send me Pokemon cards to cheer me up. That'll just do it. But yeah, I just need to find that. And I'm gonna probably do some advice videos. I need to do more videos. I have commitment issues with YouTube, but I think that if I put my mind to it, I could really get it done. Thank you guys all for tuning in and watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. No, I don't care if you do. You can comment though. I want to talk to people. It's a unique perspective. I like to get unique perspectives, hear about other people's journeys, and share advice. Again, I'm only 25, but unique experiences, and you know, I spent a pretty good little portion doing this. So if you work at the place that I worked, or you know of the place I worked, no hard feelings. It's all love. And thank you for letting me grow and learn, and eventually get to this point where now I get to do a self-reflective video that I'm probably gonna watch. So thank you guys. Have a good night.